You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com/sportsfan to download America's #1 sportsbook. Must be 21 plus and present in Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, permitted parishes only, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, or Wyoming. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas, 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York or visit oasas.ny.gov/gambling. Standard text messaging rates apply. Sports betting is void in Georgia, Hawaii, Utah, and other states where prohibited.
A swift kick in the ass, episode 150. Life is challenging and difficult. No one gets out alive. Time to suck it up, Buttercup. Get ready for a monster-sized boot aimed to help you get traction on personal change and get living. I am John Curran, your host. Join me as I share my journey, exploring the forces that motivate us to change and help us get through whatever life throws at us. A swift kick in the ass. Life on your terms. Welcome to another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass. This is your host, John Curran, and today my topic is change from the inside out. Now, before I go inward, I want to talk about the world a little bit. You know, the state of the world right now is pretty crazy, crazier than I could have ever imagined it. And you know, if my dad was alive, he was born back in 1929, so he actually kind of grew up as a kid. He saw the Depression firsthand and lived through it. It affected him his whole life, and I know that our own life experiences, you know, they affect the way we view the world. That's what our life is. It's our understanding of our experiences built up over time. So, you know, the state of the world right now, it can be damn depressing, and it's really not within our grasp of changing things. I mean, our hands are tied, right? We don't put countries at war. We're not involved with that, are we? If we are, we should think about the lives that we put at risk and why we're putting them at risk. But that's not what this show is about. This show is about creating change from the inside out. And how I'm going to talk about how I did it. Now, the world's a nasty place. Bad things happen. War happens. People die. Back when Tommy got brain cancer, I was really depressed, quite honestly. I went to the doctor, temporarily went on, I think, Lexapro, just a very baby amount, an antidepressant to help get me through, and it did. I needed to do that. But it didn't. It did and it didn't. It helped me get past that, but it didn't solve my problems by any means. And I needed to deal with them. And that's what I did. I looked inward to try to figure out what the hell was going on with me at the time. And, what was going on, it doesn't really matter because this is really not about me. It's about you and any of these feelings that you are going through that are trying to push you towards some type of change. Now, we all have thoughts that come in and out of our minds. They pop up. They come out of nowhere. We don't know what the source is, but they are a part of us. And the way I like to look at it is our subconscious trying to solve some type of problem, or perhaps even raising creating an issue. I think that our mindsets can also promote those type of thoughts. Like, if something bothers you and it keeps coming up and it keeps coming up, and it's really just nonsense, you need to just kind of stand ground, I think, and call it out. And I actually would give mine a name. Like, I think I called it Morris. I would get a feeling, in the pit of my stomach when I felt this way. And when I was having these thoughts, it was kind of going hand in hand. And it's right around the time that Tommy was dying. And I thought, you know what? I can't live like this. I refuse to live like this. I don't have much time left. I was in my 50s and my best friend was dying of brain cancer. And, he was out there in his wheelchair doing karaoke and dancing and just trying to get as much life out of what he had left as he could. And I want to do that, but I want to do that when I'm healthy and when I can enjoy it. And I want to enjoy the world. I want to be happy. Now, I want this and I want that. It may not be what I need. And I do believe that we should try to get what we want, but we're not always going to get it. And we have to recognize that that's okay. We need to adapt to what we learn. And really, life is all about learning. So with the state of the world it is, and I'm going to keep going back to this, looking at this from a global perspective, the world is huge and we are just a little pinpoint. Even in the timeline of Earth, mankind is just a pinpoint in the billions and trillions of years that the Earth has been around. I don't know about trillions of years, showing how little I know about how old the Earth is. But, we can't do much about that. And when we die, Earth is going to continue on. So why are we getting all wrapped up so much about this or that? That's really so inconsequential, and no one's going to remember it. No one's even going to know. And in fact, going back to the topic, starting with change from within, I think most of us, we try to want to change our thoughts. We have overwhelming thoughts. We have this thought and that thought and this thought and that other one coming in. Everything's coming in all at once, and it's so overwhelming. In fact, I remember, when you're going through a tough time, it really does feel like the world is just crashing in on you. So, what do you do about it? I felt very weak and hurt, injured, I guess, not hurt, but injured. When I lost my dad, when I lost Tommy, all these other things going on that I have to adapt to. My kids are growing up. I'm going to be an empty nester before you even know it. And, life goes on no matter what your specific current condition or situation is. Life is going to keep going. So, we're going to have these thoughts and they keep going and we can't really stop them. But we can learn how to manage them and how to deal with them. And what I have learned is that, go back to when Tommy died. You can't change when people die. You wouldn't wish that upon most people, that they get sick and die, especially those that you love and care about. But that's the way it is. It sucks. And you can't change it. So what do? You get through it, right? You embrace it. You say, you know what? I'm going to hug this situation. I'm going to and what I mean by it is like kind of get closer to the situation. I mean, you can't change it. So you have to accept that and kind of surrender yourself to that situation or condition, the things that you can't change. Stop worrying about things that you can't change. You can't do it. And you have to make a choice to do that. And it's not easy, and it's not overnight, and it's never going to be perfect because, you're hitting a running target. This is not a one and done. This is a stop and start realizing when this is happening to you, and see what that is, see what's going on and start questioning it. This is how you make progress. This is how you examine the terms of your life. This is how you understand the terms of your life, the situations and conditions. So for me, my work was really stressing me out. And particular people at work were really, really stressing me out. And in fact, whenever I would get into a specific situation at work, when I was called upon, I'd actually start losing my voice. Can you believe that? I would start to lose my voice. Yeah, I'd get a big frog in my throat and I couldn't vocalize my thoughts. I was really messed up and it was really concerning. That was probably my low point. And that's when I decided, I need to get serious about changing things. And I think what happens is that the world wears you down. We get hammered out there, man. You go out into the world and you get the shit beat out of you. You can, either at work, or maybe you're not in a good relationship, or maybe you have problems with your kids, or your car's messed up, or the air conditioner of your house is old, or your roof is leaking, whatever it is. These challenges are just things that we have to face in life. They come and they go, and they're constant. They never go away until the day we die. And I've been thinking, not to get morbid, but again, bringing up Tommy's death, you can't control when that happens to you. We don't know when we're going to die. And honestly, when it happens to us, whatever happens after, we are not going to care. I don't think so, at least. All your feelings, all your pain and suffering is done when you die. I don't think that's a good thing. I think pain and suffering is part of being alive, and it's only one side of the coin. There's so much joy and pleasure to get in from this world, and happiness. There's so much, and beauty. I love this world and I love my life. And I want to share this with you because I've been in a very dark place. I've experienced death. I've experienced job loss. I've had difficulty in relationships. I've been just trying to live with myself. And it's tough. I'm not an easy person to get along with sometimes. But I try, and I keep trying to learn and teach myself how to do better and be better. And I hope you want to do the same. And I hope you join me on this. Now, we can't stop thinking, and we can't stop these thoughts. But we can call them out. And, ignoring them is not going to make them go away. But if we address them and call them out and question it and say, what purpose do you serve? Maybe they might back off a little. But if you start looking at different ways that you can, figure out what's going on, that might give you a little bit of space that you need. And for me, I found meditation to be extremely helpful. I would have never imagined this to be possible. But if you think about it, if you can just kind of, with a straight back, sit up right, close your eyes, and take a breath. A deep breath in. And then exhale. In, I take a breath in, and I take a breath out. And there's a little space in between. And if you can focus your thoughts on your breath, it could also give you some space. Now, when I first tried to start meditating, when all this crap was going on in my life, oh my gosh, the thoughts were so overwhelming. I found it hard to even keep my eyes shut. I felt I couldn't get comfortable. I was trying to cross my legs and do like a meditation position like you see people doing. And oh my God, it was so freaking painful. I had to learn kind of what was good for me and what worked for me. But really what started it all was sitting in a chair. Just sitting in a chair and closing my eyes. No posture, just comfortable, just sitting. Now I learned that it's very important to keep a straight spine, and it helped, and also breathe with your stomach. You should breathe kind of when you inhale, your stomach should be going out. And when you exhale, your stomach should be coming in. And you kind of have to teach yourself because somehow we fall out of that naturally. So I feel like I'm getting off track here. Anyhow, when the world is crashing in around you, I think of it being like fight or flight. That's how your body reacts, right? Increased heart rate, your thoughts are racing, you're maybe nervous, anxious, you could feel all sorts of different ways. And your thoughts, your feelings have validity, but your thoughts, maybe they have value, maybe they don't. Maybe it's just random. Maybe it has no purpose at all. Maybe it's just something you saw. Maybe, who knows? Who can explain your thoughts? But you can teach yourself to get those thoughts to pass. Now, important things are going to come back and keep popping up. And you could train yourself to deal with that and get through that. And I'm happy to say that as I sit here doing this podcast and thinking about back a few years ago, I'm in a totally different place now. I am so much happier. Life is freaking great. Yes, I have my complaints. There are things I really that have to change, or who knows, or my life is really going to change considerably. that's okay. It's all going to be part of life. And I don't know what my story is going to be, because my story is not over. I'm not dead. I'm going to keep telling my story too, because I have hubris. No, because I'm arrogant and I like talking about myself. No, I don't really like talking about myself. But I want to share my experience, because I think that people experience the same thing I do. And I know that I've gotten through this, or at least, this part of it. And I think what I've learned, I can definitely help others. So, are you your thoughts? No, you're not your thoughts. Are your thoughts relevant? Do they have value? You don't. You determine that. You give them life. You allow them to take on a life of their own. In fact, I really believe. I think of myself as being an observer of my thoughts. The thoughts come from somewhere deep within inside me, but it's unconscious, and I can't control it. I'm not. I don't have power over that necessarily, so I'm not going to worry about it, and I'm going to recognize what I do have power over, and I'm going to acknowledge what I don't have power over. And I even learned that it's helpful to kind of talk to it, because it is. I think of it as something outside of myself. It's kind of a part of me, but some things, you just gotta kind of work at letting go. Life changes, and the better we can adapt and roll with those changes, the better. It doesn't mean we should just, not care. I think quite the contrary. I think we should care a lot about our lives, and we should take steps to get on a path that's going to ultimately lead us to someplace better, either or make us a better person in some way. Remember, you're inside your head, and other people aren't inside your head. They don't know what's going on. People are not mind readers. And you don't have to tell people what's inside your head. God, if I told you what was inside my head, I don't know. Let me know. Maybe I'll start a paid channel that I feel safer in talking about that. But, these are questions of the ages. People have had them for a long, long, long time. Look at the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Plato, Socrates. They thought about these things. How do we live our life? And what is thought all about? And the mind, and all these things are great, but it's not tangible. These things exist in our head, so they're not real. You can't touch them. But they can create walls that are that do prevent us from interacting with the outside world and making the best and leveraging what we have as resources in the outside world. It creates a disconnect, I think. Now, with any type of wall, we can go around them, we can go over them, or we can go through them. And this is where I talked about like embracing the suck. Sometimes you just gotta say, you know what, I can't change it. I hate this, but come here, give me a hug, because I gotta live with this. I gotta deal with it. And you just hug it, and you kind of get absorbed into that wall, and hopefully you don't get stuck in there. You pass through it. I think a lot of times we're running away from our problems, or we're trying to just ignore them. They are not going away. Just deal with it. And you'll be a lot happier for it once you get through it. It's tough, especially financial issues. I didn't realize how much my finances really, really impact my decisions. And I certainly have made poor financial decisions in the past. And I'm sure I'll continue to make poor financial decisions. But I'm doing better. And I'm, doing a hell of a lot better. And it does benefit your stress level. So I gave my finances a hug. They continuously need my attention, especially with 2 daughters that are almost out of the house. And I kind of love it. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a problem unless I make it a problem and I define it as a problem. Otherwise, it is just what it is. I'm going to focus on what I can change, and that change begins on the inside. And what you'll see is that as you create space on the, in your mind, and get these racing thoughts out and kind of settle things down, inside, then things will start to break loose, and things will start to snowball, I think, and have a very powerful impact. So, I guess I'll finish this out with just saying that, when I was growing up, I looked up to my dad a lot. As I said, he was born in 1929 during the Depression. He went through war. He was actually in the Air Force. He lived a good life, and he was a tough guy. And I always thought of him as a tough guy. But my generation, we're tougher. And we're better in a lot of ways. Now, that's not putting down my dad or that generation. It's just saying we've had to adapt. We've learned and evolved from previous generations. We look at life differently in many, many different ways, and in many different better ways. But a lot of it's because we've had to, because the world has changed. And the world that my father lived in, it really doesn't exist anymore. And the world I grew up in really doesn't exist anymore. Although I'm alive, my childhood home, it's basically, parts of it have been all mowed down and rebuilt. And, hurricanes have a lot to do with that. But, again, we can't help hurricanes. We have no control over that. But we can control if we want to rebuild or not. Or we could get the hell out of the state. Now, my dad used to say, living in Florida, dealing with hurricanes, that's the price that you pay for living in paradise. So there's a price that you're paying for the life that you're living. Start looking at that, at what you're paying for, and you might find you don't want to pay that price anymore. Well, what do? You look for another way to get that need met at a better price. And it doesn't have to be money. It costs you your life. And this is really serious. There's not that much time left. I don't care how old you are. There's no guarantee till tomorrow of what tomorrow may bring. And let's work on solving our challenges and recognize that new ones are going to keep popping up. But it's the same. It's going to be the same for the world, and it's going to be the same for individuals. So I gave you a lot to think about today. I hope you're enjoying the content. I'm getting a little spark back, and I hope that this helps you. I hope it provides you the swift kick in the ass you need to lead a better life. Until the next time, this is your host, John Curran. This is a Swift Kick in the Ass podcast. Peace. This marks the end of another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass, placing it directly in the can. As much as I like to talk, even I have my limits. It's time to go. Catch me on the next show. For better or worse, whether you like us or not, please leave comments wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter. Visit our home on the interweb. I think you can leave me a voicemail there. You can also email me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. It's been my extreme pleasure. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you got your ass moving. Until then, until the next time, I'm out of here. Peace.